For his statement, representative of the Russian Federation.
The current escalation in the southeast of the Ukraine is a direct consequence of the reckless policy of Kiev, which is conducting war against its own people. With the support and under the influence of a number of states, the Kiev authorities have torpedoed all political agreements on resolving the crisis in the Ukraine. The Geneva Declaration of 17th April and the Berlin Declaration of 2nd of July. Not to mention the agreement of the 21st February by the current authorities who were in former opposition. They cast aside this agreement, which opened a real opportunity for a civilized solution to the crisis. Now, the so-called peace plan proposed by President Poroshenko unilaterally was only a step in further escalation because the truce was predicated by capitulation of the insurgents. And this against a backdrop of any real steps towards the beginning of a political process or negotiations with representatives of the regions. Where is the inclusive national dialogue promised by Kiev, or the constitutional reform, decentralization of authority, or a special status for the Russian language? The only thing we're seeing is a fight against dissent, where political parties are banned and the media that doesn't toe the line is banned. President Poroshenko has often made peaceful statements. Just yesterday, this was his comment of the outcome of the high-level meeting in Minsk, and I'm quoting, "The main goal of Kiev is peace. We demand decisive action that could bring peace to Ukraine." End of quote. Now, he also spoke of some kind of new urgent peace plan. Where is this plan? Or is this another maneuver to distract attention while, in fact, trying to solve the situation by force? We hope that the Kiev authorities will not lose the positive opportunities of the Minsk meeting. And we think that the Ukrainian armed forces, in fact, have trampled on all standards of humanitarian law, and they have been shelling civilian quarters. They're using artillery, munitions with phosphorus and other weapons. In the area of the so-called anti-terrorist operations, there are 4 million people living. Hundreds of thousands of people sit in basements for weeks without water, electricity, food, or any kind of medicine. The overall number of those killed is over 2,000, and their number is increasing geometrically. The number of displaced people, including refugees from Ukraine to Russia, is already over 814,000 people. On the media, you hear about the terrible losses of the Ukrainian army. This is confirmed by the mass protests on Ukraine against mobilization. Hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers, for different reasons, find themselves on the territory of Russia. We give them food, drink, we care for them when we send them back to the Ukraine. We expect the same kind of humane attitude of the Kiev authorities towards Russian airborne troops that have been the subject of much speculation over the past 24 hours. At the same time, it is said that they were stopped while they had their documents and their weapons were not armed. This certainly doesn't look like an armed group taking part in conflict. Everyone knows that there are Russian volunteers on the eastern parts of the Ukraine. No one is hiding that. We'd like to see similar transparency shown by other countries. For example, maybe our American colleagues can tell us about what the tens of American advisors who are in the building of the Ukrainian Security Council are doing, or how many so-called Ukrainian mercenaries from so-called military enterprises are waging war thousands of kilometers away from their land. Where did the Ukrainian security forces get the latest weapons? Now, the American ambassador said, what kind of message can we send to Russia's neighbors? Well, I would suggest that we send a message to Washington. Stop interfering in the internal affairs of sovereign states. Stop trying to undermine a regime that you don't like. Restrain your geopolitical ambitions. When not only Russia's neighbors, but many other countries around the world would breathe a sign of relief. Furthermore, stop taking advantage of the topic of the Malaysian airliner that was shut down. Up to now, only Russia has made a significant contribution to investigating this tragedy. All the others are only We hear hints, we hear speculations, and we don't get any full information. Or, for example, why haven't the Ukrainian authorities provided records of their air traffic controllers' conversations? It's still, for some reason, we don't know why. Recently, in spite of significant resistance of certain members of the Security Council, the first Russian humanitarian convoy was delivered to Luhansk under the auspices of the International Red Cross. Today, we are preparing for the sending of a second convoy. An agreement on this was confirmed today in a telephone call between Foreign Minister Lavrov and Foreign Minister of Ukraine. Distinguished members of the Security Council, we have to remember that the Council is not there to disseminate guesswork or speculation or spread accusations, but to find solutions to crises. Today we suggest adopting the following statement for the press of the Security Council. And I'm asking the Secretary to disseminate the English text, which I will read in Russian. The members of the Security Council expressed their serious concern about the deteriorating situation in the southeast of the Ukraine and called an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. Members of the Security Council called on inclusive political dialogue in the Ukraine based on the Geneva Declaration of 17th April 2014 and the Joint Berlin Declaration of the 2nd of July of 2014. In this context, they noted the role of the contact group and strongly urged on the immediate resumption of the process in the framework of the contact group. Members of the Security Council called on the international community to step up their efforts in order to provide humanitarian assistance to the population of the Donetsk and Lugansk regions of Ukraine. End of text. Statement of the press by the Security Council. We suggest voting on this statement now, today, at this table. Thank you very much.